Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Rob Dukes, and this is the Put Up Your Dukes podcast. All right, today, my guest, Brian Fair, Shadows Fall, man, is such a good dude. I've known him a long time, and we had a nice conversation, so you're going to enjoy that. This week, man, I've been just watching hockey. Did you guys watch that 4 overtime hockey game? It was like a 6.5 hour game, and it was crazy. It wasn't the ending I expected. Right now, I'm watching the game now. It's 1-1. This is in between periods. I'm going to make this quick today because I want to just get to the guest. Not a lot going on, man. I'm actually getting ready to go to the Milwaukee Metal Fest. Hang out with a bunch of really cool people, man. There's so many cool bands. I mean, so many bands I can't even fucking... just Lamb of God, Machine Head, Anthrax, Dark Angel, Biohazard doing their first gig in forever. Who else? And then like a lot of like little like up and coming bands, Castle Robbery, Squid Hammer, Misfire. It's going to be just a great weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. And on the night before, like a real pre-party. Me and Jamie Josta, Phil Demmel, and Paul Bostaff, and Ripper Owens going to be there. And it's going to be really cool, man. We're going to have a blast. And I'm going to be hanging out. I'm bringing like 50 cigars because I know I'm just going to be handing cigars out and hanging out with people and smoking cigars. And I'm going to film a lot of it and have podcasts with people one-on-one, do some long-form ones, do a lot of short ones. And then during the weekend, it's going to be all live. So it's going to be fun, man. So check in to Milwaukee Metal Fest. I'm going to have some really good guests, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to going, man. Get out of this heat. It's starting to get hot in Arizona. So I get to go chill in some Milwaukee weather for a long weekend. And then it's off to New York to rehearse and hang out with the Generation Kill boys. What else is going on? I know I keep saying I'm going to watch the news, but I haven't. I haven't watched the news. I'm watching this series right now with Melody. We're watching Omega. I don't know. It's with the chick from Basic Instinct and Casino. I can't remember her name. One that showed her snatch in that movie. Anyway. It's actually a really good series, man. It's really good. Recently, I went on a deep dive. I had never watched Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I just, for some reason, like when it was happening, everybody was blowing it up. They're like, oh, it's the greatest show ever. It's the greatest show ever. And I was, out of spite, I just wouldn't watch it. You know what I mean? And so finally I did. And... Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul were excellent. I watched them over a 2-month period. I watched a couple episodes every night for about a month and a half, 2 months. And what an amazing story. What an amazing, Vince Gillian is just a great writer, and Bob Odenkirk. And if you've never seen the movie Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, it's brilliant. But Better Call Saul he's probably one of my favorite characters in TV history. I mean, he was so good, man. He was so smart and so funny, and a truly original role, and it was great. And I love Bob when he was on Mr. Show, and I've always enjoyed his work. Anyway, so once again, Brian Fair, Shadows Fall, man. Great conversation. You guys enjoy, and I'll see you soon.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Good to see you.
You too, man. It's been fucking way too long.
Indeed it has.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just been chilling around here, working, hanging with the family, use sports. I feel like I'm at a soccer field like every fucking day.
Right. How many kids you got?
Two. So
how old are they?
7 and 10. So,
ooh.
yeah.
That's fun. They're into fucking everything.
There chaos. We're just doing everything.
Yeah. When I was a kid, 7 to 10, I would leave the house at like 8 in the morning and not come back till dinner. And no one fucking give a shit where I was and come looking for me. You know,
and now have the police pick them up and come pick us up after. So, you know.
Cool. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. Good. Stoked to be playing some music again these days. Getting back with some Shadows Fall shows. So it's been cool, man. Been stoked.
Cool, man. Yeah, too. I just did a tour with Dead by Wednesday not too long ago.
Yeah,
a little East Coast run with those guys. And it was the first time we'd been out in a while, man. And it was fun, man. I missed it. You know what I mean? So,
and you know when it's fun again, you're like, oh, that's right. This can be fun.
I mean, there's no fucking money in it, but it's fucking fun.
No,
I mean?
Exactly.
Now the fucking clubs want they fucking want like 25% of your fucking merch on top of raping you in every other form they can get you. It's fucking. I mean, yeah.
So what sell for you? They're just like, yeah, no, we're just gonna take your money because you're here. It's like,
yeah. I think it. I don't know. It hasn't happened to me yet, but if it does, I'm not sure. I would be like, well, you know, I'm not gonna sell any merch then. Like, I don't know if it would. Like, it's like such a fuck you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know what I haven't. It hasn't happened to me personally. It's happened to a couple people I know, and one band just said, "Fuck it, we're not going to sell merch. Like, buy it online. You just get it later."
Yeah, it's crazy. So
the
like empty boxes that come in later after you count it in, you know.
Yeah, totally. I know there's a way to scam them. I just don't know how to do it yet, but I'm sure I'll figure it out once I get in that position. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey, always a way.
Do you got? So what do you got going? So you're gonna be at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. Shadows Falls playing.
Yep. Yeah, man. Fucking Metal Fest. Stoked for that, man. We played it like 23 years ago or whatever. It was the last time. Maybe it was 99 when we were on the King Diamond tour. Was the last time I was thought about Milwaukee Metal Fest. So
okay, yeah, man.
Back.
Yeah, and I'm glad Jamie bought it and he's fucking putting it together and let it live on, which is cool. Now, are you on tour anyway and just having it, or it's just a one-off?
Just doing it as a one-off. Yeah, we've only played since we stopped touring. We've done 3 shows now total. So we got Milwaukee Metal Fest coming up as just a straight one-off, and then we're doing a show in Florida and hopping on that Hangers boat with like Lamb of God and God Forbid and a bunch of other bands. Actually, I think in Hatebreed. That's in October. We may fill in a few things from them, but we're just doing the like festival long weekend type of thing right now. Everyone's all over the place. I mean, half the dudes are playing in legacy thrash metal bands these days. Bittner's and Overkill, John's and Anthrax.
Yeah.
So
are you on the same day as Anthrax, or is he giving you double duty, or is it a different day?
No, and he's gonna have the right hand just throbbing out of all that dacking. So
yeah, good. That's what he gets. You know what I mean? Yeah. Last time I saw you, I don't know if you'll remember this. The last time I saw you was at the Regency Ballroom with is you guys, Exodus and Anthrax, and the last time I saw you was you went fucking stage diving across in front of me. You sang for a second, and then you did like a flip into the crowd, and then
I had beer.
Yeah. And it was the last time I saw you because right after the show was like my family was there, so I had to like kind of bail like right after the show. And I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. And but that was my last image of you before I called you today. I was like, fucking hey. Yeah, right on.
Here flying by in a flip, Yep.
Yeah.
That little, we only hopped on for the end there, but that was a blast. Long.
Yeah. I always saw, I talked to, last time I talked to Zeus, I told him, I said, man, I should fucking hook up with Brian and put a tour together and fucking Generation Kill and Shadows go out and do some shows. And maybe we get God forbid involved and fucking do some East Coast shit, you know?
That'd be
yeah. Yeah, we had a blast on that one, man. And anyway, so what do you do during the day when you're not playing?
These days I work for Alvarez Guitars. It's company St. Louis Music. They own like Alvarez Guitars, Dixon Drums, and a few like band and orchestra instrument companies as well. So we just sell to like music stores or Guitar Center and all that shit. Working mostly in sales and just kind of like basically moved out to St. Louis because my wife's from here, and I met a dude through skateboarding around like locally that was like, hey, this dude's retiring at in this spot, and I was like, I'm in, so it worked out perfect. So yeah, it's fun. The first time going to like a NAMM convention on the other side of the table was funny, where I was like working a booth as opposed to just doing a signing. So, but it's cool, man. And then still making music locally here with a band called Hell Night. It's more of like a down-tuned, raw, like punk rock band. It's just mean music. What funny. I'd mellow out as I get older. And I'm like, nah, I'm just making more angry shit,
Totally. So did you so you're playing and do you jump on like the local shows that come through and you just kind of jump onto those, or
times, we're just playing locally occasionally. Like we hopped on like a DRI show when they came through, hopped on like a Nail show, but we just played our first show in a couple of years just like a week ago locally, just a headliner, and it was fun, man. Yeah, I mean, these dudes have all been playing around the St. Louis scene for years and years, and they were like one of the first bands I saw when I got here, and the singer was a friend of my wife's, and he decided like he just wasn't into just doing music anymore, like vocally. He was a drummer, and I was like, if I was going to join any band, that would have been the one. So it worked out kind of perfect,
Nice, right on, man. Me and you were on you did a song and I did a song on Dead by Wednesdays. They did a record for their buddy, and I thought your song was the best song on the album, dude. It was fucking killer. It's like your vocals kill, man. Your vocals just kill.
That was fun, and those dudes rule. Like we had just done a tour with them where I hopped up on stage a couple times because their old singer kind of missed some stuff on one stuff.
Right.
So I'd already been jamming with them that way now. So once they and I've known Opus for just going back as far as I can remember, and it's just one of the hardest working dudes in music. A super genuine dude as well, so I was stoked to be part of that. And I also like the concept, and I saw like Carly from Candiria, and you were all doing Saw. I know a bunch of different dudes. It was a cool thing. So, but I'm glad you dig it, man. If I'm still around today, maybe I'll hop up on stage. But I gotta get back to work on Monday after Milwaukee Metal Fest. So.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm fucking right back here. I'm going a day early because I'm playing the party on Thursday. So. So we're going to rehearse Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah.
The Josta All-Stars.
Yeah, the Josta All-Stars. Yeah. So it's me and Ripper and fucking Demo and who the fuck knows who else. I don't know. I think Charlie Belmore's playing. Do you know Charlie and Nick? So those guys are part of it. I know. I don't think Nicky's a part of it. Charlie's he's doing the whole music stuff. So they picked Josta picked the song. He picked Death Amphetamine by Exodus, and then he sent the song to those guys, and those guys were like, yeah, that's not going to happen. We should probably pick something a little easier. And they picked a little easier, but it was funny because once he said that, I was like, good luck with that, man. Like, yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah. The whole Milwaukee thing is going to be a blast, man. It's like such I'm glad he just was like, I'm going to do it how it felt back then, like a lot of either not just all older bands, but like bands that were part of it back in the day, but also bands that fit just that vibe now,
Yeah, all the new young bloods. Yeah, man. Yep. No, it should be cool. So I'm going to be doing my podcast live from there. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have like a spot set up, and I'm going to have all you guys come like at once. So we're just going to do it live and fucking, maybe after you play, this way you can talk about what it was like to play it, and everybody over here, man, it's going to be a fucking blast. It's going to be killer.
Gosh, yeah.
All right. So let's jump to what was your first band that you loved? That was your own. Like I stole records from older people around me and I had those. What was the first band that, like, for me, it was The Clash. That was the first music I bought on my own, Clash and Queen. What was your band?
The weirdest combo of two cassettes to buy at the same time ever. I got on the same day with my own money, Business as Usual by Men at Work and Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz.
No shit.
And it began the like convergence of all my musical styles, like.
Right.
But
yeah.
the first band I think I was obsessed with, but it was from the neighbors, was Kiss. Like I saw the makeup and all that. But the first time I went out with my own cash, it was Men at Work and Ozzy.
Wow. I was the Clash and Queen. So both those records just come out and I was obsessed. Yeah.
That was when I Blizzard of Oz and just listening to like Randy's stuff, just like just analyzing it all and trying to just believe a human
anyway.
Like just like such a different
like it was such a different feel from like Van Halen. If like you were listening to Van Halen 1 and 2, then that came out and it was like it wasn't even on the same planet. You're like, wow, these guys are both like other level aliens.
Yeah, except it just had that darkness and heaviness too, because Van Halen was always about the party. This was more like
always. Yeah.
These dudes are scary.
Yeah, drink beer and pussy. That was Van Halen, and Ozzy was smoke weed and be fucking gloomy. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. So, what was your band? How did you? Were you a singer always? Did you play an instrument?
Yeah, no, I started playing guitar pretty early and pretty poorly, but like enjoyed it. I'm lefty and I only got a righty guitar, so I just forced myself to learn righty. And I started playing bass in a band because I was like, all right, this felt more comfortable. And my first real band was like a weird mix of like the Sex Pistols and Skid Row, where we were half punk rock kids and half like just like radio rocker, like glam, metal stuff. Yeah. But we liked always this kind of sleazier, dirtier stuff than like the poppy stuff. So, and so I played bass in that band. And then I met Mike D, who is now in Killswitch Engage. And we were skating together and he was talking about his old band had broke up and he wanted to start a new hardcore band. And he already played bass. So he's like, why don't you sing? So that's how I started singing. And that's how Overcast started. And then we did that for like 8 or 9 years or whatever. But yeah, so I sang by default. That just happened to be this skater dude who, he already played bass and had riffs. So I was like, all right, you win. I'll
right. Sing. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's the way. Yeah, a lot of people fall to it. Just like me, I was a guitar player, then became a tech, and then fell into singing by just pure right place, right time. You know what I mean? Luck.
That's how it works. Yeah. And then I did just kind of gravitate to being a front man. And I always considered myself more of a front man than a singer because I was like, man, I'm just here to yell at people, jump around, and make a move. I was like, dad back early on. I'm like, I'm not going to be doing the opera stuff, so I'll just yell at you and tell you to move.
Yeah. No, you're great, dude. I've been a fan since day one, since we have a lot of mutual friends. So like we would cross paths quite occasionally, and I was always stoked when you guys were around, especially because you had a mixture of like it was almost like Swedish metal mixed with East Coast metal mixed with a little bit of hardcore and a little bit. You guys were just like a mixture of like a lot of things, and it was cool that it wasn't the same song every fucking song. Like you had ups and downs and valleys, and that's kind of what's always attracted me to certain bands was their ability to step out of the grind and to just take a risk on doing something else. So
that was always really our goal, and we were a melting pot of like we had people who were really into like East Coast hardcore and like New York sound, like Leeway and Cro-Mags and stuff. Was part of our sound, but John and Matt were way into melodic death metal and At the Gates and Carcass and all that stuff. Yeah. But we also loved rock and roll. We probably listened to more like old Aerosmith together than we did like that. Yeah. Kind of, also, yeah, at that time there was that kind of At the Gates core stuff happening, but all those bands, the songs would sound the same. It would just be like that straight kind of riff that they would do all of them a lot, Gothenburg, and like every now and then throw some like rock riffs and throw some or like some just darker, weirder stuff. And that was what we always wanted to do. We wanted to kind of have that ebb and flow, and but it came naturally though. It was just from having 5 dudes who had such different influences, kind of, but with that Venn diagram of common ground, you know, like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, you know, Generation Kill is kind of like our template was, not to rip it off, but our template was Sad Wings of Destiny, because every song had like a you know, a different vibe to it rather than just a straight, you know, all the time. And that was the reason I started the band in the first place, you know. And you know, you guys were on that level. I think God Forbid had the same kind of thing where they also went to evaluation. It was like, I don't know if it was necessarily an East Coast thing, but it just seemed that those bands were all doing that. And, you know, it was funny. Jamie brought us on tour, and he had a thrash band, a death metal band, a hardcore band, and a just, you know, it was always fun because it wasn't saying 4 of the same exact bands all the time, you know. And
those are our favorite tours when we would do stuff like that. And some of them were like, I remember one of our early ones was, you know, Hatebreed, then 6 Feet Under, then us, and then Death Threat, you know. So it's like you got East Coast hardcore, middle, full on death metal, and then Hatebreed. And like that's that. But also on the East Coast shows, I remember, especially early days, Shadows Fall would end up on bills with like, you know, screamo style bands and then grindcore bands, but then also like, you know, straight thrash metal bands. So there was a lot of mixed bills back then. And then all of a sudden tours started being like, here's 4 of the same idea. And the thing about that is when you hammer a nail all the way into a table, you don't like keep hammering it, you know, like it's just the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Over and over again. It starts to
get. And I always thought those were the most fun tours we ever did. The ones that we did a tour with like Sub-Zero, and it was us, Sub-Zero, Sworn Enemy, and then I can't remember the other band, but it was cool because it was thrash, hardcore, something cool, and it was just great. And you know what's funny was all the hardcore guys were all like into like The Cure and fucking they didn't listen to hardcore, they listened to other shit, and I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Yeah. So as the years went on and the shows got more violent, right? Do you remember anything like really like surprising you, going like, holy shit, this is like, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is what I signed up for. Like, did anything ever hit you like that, or did you just? Yeah.
Yeah, like what's funny though, early on, like I went to some mean Boston hardcore shows at like the Channel and stuff when I was a little kid. So, but I was like on the outside, just like, whoa, these dudes are crazy. But then as we started playing shows, I remember might have been Club Chrome in New Jersey, and it was us and All Out War, and maybe God Forbid, and it literally ended in a full-scale box cutter fight. You know, where like there was just dudes just fighting on the middle of the floor with box cutters. It spilled on the merch table, t-shirts flying everywhere, and we're just like, yo, it was during the clean part in the song too, and we're like, this is like the ballad part, man. Like you guys are like slice each other up, and we got clean guitars happening. Like, what is going on? Like, but man, yeah, and you know, I'm a fairly like peaceful dude, but I'm also the guy who's gonna tell a crowd to do like, you know, to actually kill each other. So it's kind of a weird balance.
I'm the same guy, so I get it.
Yeah, I remember being like, "Yo, kill each other" or something, and then you're like, "Oh, well, no, not literally." Like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, you know, don't actually do that.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny that it's like, of all the, I mean, hardcore is extremely violent. Thrash metal can be really violent. You know, I remember Slayer shows back in the day were crazy until I went to like a small club and saw the Cro-Mags, and realized, holy shit, this is way more violent.
Yeah,
you know, and then you know, through time, and then what happens is Drake comes on stage, and a bunch of people get at a metal show. You know what I mean? It took Drake to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. It's insane that way. Like you hear about these, you know, I think they were talking about shutting down the O2 Academy in London because there was a crushing thing. And you're like, dude, I've seen metal shows there where it's total insanity, but everyone's looking out for each other. There's none of that stuff. You may get accidentally hurt, you know, or it's like you might get punched for doing something stupid, but there's not going to be this like mob of people trying to crush through a door or to a barricade. You know, you kind of know how the safety factor. Because I remember seeing some of those festival setups where that one, I think it was the Travis Scott thing, and you look at the festival, you're like, who would have set up barricades like this where you're trapping people in this little area? Like, it's, metal dudes would be like, no, man, you got to open this up and like spread it around, and you see that setup, and it's like, they just don't know. I guess maybe they haven't been through that stuff, but it's crazy.
I remember when I was like, yeah, they really did that one wrong and just had the wrong people running shit. But I remember when it used to be the gates would close and they would just open it, and whoever got to the front first won. Until the Who, about 9 people or 6 to 9 people got killed and trampled at a Who concert. And they, the band didn't even know until after they played anyway, and they didn't know. And they felt like shit after. And they're like, happened I think it happened to AC/DC too. In Europe somewhere.
Those general admission things, when it's a literal just open the cattle gate, like that stuff can get crazy,
Yeah. I was at the Iron Maiden Judas Priest debacle in Long Island when they were setting cop cars on fire. But the craziest thing when I was there, it was Judas Priest was on, and somebody was throwing M80s from the top barrier, and one went off about two feet from my face, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, this sucks. I'm not. And I remember just finding my way to the back. But I've been in some of the worst pits ever, and the worst thing ever happened to me was, I got elbowed in the face, and
I've had the stitches over the eye and the broken nose, but that's really about it. But surprisingly, the craziest riot in the middle of a show I've ever been at was the Hare Krishna hardcore band Shelter in Boston. They're like, and at the time their music had gotten fairly melodic too. But there was a bunch of dudes who were just causing trouble and, like messing with people during the show. And Ray Capo used to be in Utah Today, singer for Shelter, told everyone, kind of sit down. He's trying to do this peaceful sort of like meditative way to calm everyone down. And this one dude wouldn't sit down. He's just yelling at him, flipping him off. And this other guy kind of grabs him by the shoulder, like, hey, man, sit down. And he just decks the dude. And Ray yells, get him. And like the whole crowd just attacks this dude. But it's a crowd of like Krishna vegan dudes. So these thug dudes just start hurling them around. And next thing you know, they're standing on a table with hockey sticks, just clearing kids out. And it's a full scale police riot. Trash cans flying, windows smashed, tables flying. And it all started at a Krishna core show,
I didn't even know there was a thing. So good. I went on the Jim Jeffries podcast, and it's called I Don't Know. And he basically gets questioned about music and metal and stuff. And he goes, how many metal bands are there? And my answer was, it's limitless. I mean, we have everything from metalcore to crabcore and this is a new one. I've never heard of Hare Krishna core.
Totally, dude. And they're lyrics try about perspective, nonviolence, and it turns into a full scale riot.
Oh, that's fucking killer. Fucking great. Well, I'm not. If I ever see one coming through town, I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah. It's funny. The limitlessness. You could subgenre metal more than anything too, where there's so many hyphens. Where next thing you know, it's like necro, doom, grind, blast, splattercore, like whatever.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. I always figured if it's cool, if it sounds good, I'll listen to it. But a lot of it, it's what it reminds me of now, man? It reminds me of like when hair metal just grinded to a fucking halt because there was just so much garbage.
Dude, totally.
And I'm hoping that doesn't happen, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen in this wave. The thing about metal, though, is metalheads are diehards. They'll just keep coming. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
well, and like you said about the glam metal thing, it hit what I always call the Trenczer stage. It's like once you have a band like Trenczer, like where it's like the boy band version of a genre, you're done. And that happened with glam, happened with grunge. It's happened with so many types, pop punk, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you get to the end of the line where you're like, okay, I guess we're done. Like like we've hit the Trenczer stage.
Terrible. Yeah, it becomes horrible. It becomes unlistenable. So I remember I saw the lineup for Coachella this year, and I swear, dude, I didn't know one band, not one.
Totally.
And I saw Rage Against the Machine headline there. I saw I saw fucking Tomahawk. You know what I mean? I saw Peeping Tom. You remember Peeping Tom? Mike Patton's other fucking band. I just saw so many great fucking bands there. And then now, like, I look and there's not one. I guess I'm just old.
Yeah. Part of it's being old, but also part of it's being like, you know, these bands come and go so quick where I'm like, how are these bands that no one heard of 2 years ago able to sell 250,000 tickets to Coachella? And it's like, it's good, you know, it's because it's such a thing, but it's just funny how quick that turnover is now, where the headliners, who are you? Like, where'd you come from?
I mean, we've been pounding the ground for our whole fucking adult lives, and we're still, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't trade it for anything, man, because, you know, it was the camaraderie along the way, the friendships I've made, you know, a lot of acquaintances, but some good, really good friendships, and the like I said, the camaraderie, the shows themselves are great, but it's also like what happens after the show on the bus, and
Totally.
it's been some of the best times of my life. And you know, and just like I said, man, when someone brought your name up recently, the image came to my head of you doing a flip off the stage, and I was like, and I said, that's my last image of Brian. I didn't see him after this show, and what a cool fucking, you know, what a cool image to have in my head. You know what I mean? So, wow.
It's classic. I think Mikey T, our merch guy for Shadows Fall on that run, I think he might have gotten a video of that flip too. So I'll have to track it down and send it to you.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, dude. I can't, man. Well, look. Good.
And I always say I'm not gonna. I'm like, I'm retired from stage diving. And then like I'll go see Hatebreed and they'll play like an old song. And I'm like, before I know it, handing my wife my keys and just diving off the set.
I retired I went to see Clutch in Candiria, and I got in the pit at Candiria, and I said, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this anymore. And then we were on tour with Slayer, and I ran out into the pit in the middle of I opened up for them, and then I was done. I went right in my gig clothes, man. I ran out into the pit and just said, fuck it, I'm doing it. And that was the last one. But I used to jump in the pit all the time as a singer. You know what I mean? Like, I'd go out, I'd sing Toxic from the crowd once in a while, but I haven't done that in a while. So, but we'll see, man. This Milwaukee Metal Fest is gonna be a lot of fun, man. We get to see a lot of great bands. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing Suicidal, which are you know one of those bands that every time I see them, they're fucking awesome.
Dude, players with them that blow my mind. It's crazy because it'll be like a different lineup than last. All just insane. Like Suicidal.
Yeah. Did you see the tour when he had the black guy that was like 500 pounds?
Yeah.
Forget the guy's name. He's a great drummer, but he blew my fucking mind how good he was. Matter of fact, I actually said to my buddy, I go, he's a little too good for this band, man. I wish he wasn't so tight.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Like, man, there's gonna be so many good bands to see, so many people to hang out with, and it'll be fun to be back just at a true metal festival in the US again, you know? Yeah,
man. So look, I'm looking forward to hanging with you and seeing you guys play. I'll be stage right, of course, and watching you. And come on, I want you guys all to come on my podcast, and we're gonna spend some time together, come hang out afterward and at the hotel, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Without doubt. Good time. We'll definitely catch.
Yeah, dude, I'll see you. So it's May 26th you're playing, the Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Final
cool, man. Well, so, all right, Shadows Fall, May 26th at Milwaukee Metal Fest. Brian, thank you very much, dude. And I'll see you in a month.
Indeed, yeah. It was great catching up. We'll see you soon.